In Nashville, it was 7:15 a.m. when my entire world was turned upside down by an email. My young daughter, Emma, sat babbling happily in her high chair, blissfully unaware of the chaos about to unfold. The email subject was deceptively simple: moving on. My reaction was swift, nearly spilling my coffee as I opened the attachment. There was Donald, my husband of 5 years, embracing a young blonde woman who couldn't have been more than 23, both standing in front of our lake house. The vacation home we'd acquired last year, the same place where we had spent countless weekends planning our dreams. Yet, now came the email's chilling declaration: the house is mine now. I've moved in with Amber, and divorce papers are on their way. Don't fight it. The deed is in my name. My hands shook as I set down my coffee, not out of fear, but from a burgeoning rage. Donald thought he could simply send a smug email, flaunt a new relationship, and take away the home I'd funded with my business's success. Unaware of his betrayal, our daughter played happily. And I fixed my gaze on a framed photo of Donald and me on our wedding day, our smiles wide and naive. 5 years of commitment, only to have it end with a cold message and a photo of a new woman by his side. Taking a deep breath, I picked up my phone and hesitated momentarily on Donald's contact before selecting block. Then, with firm determination, I drafted a succinct reply. Are you sure about that? Better check the paperwork carefully. I hit send, blocked his email, and turned my attention back to Emma. Donald had always misconstrued my strength, viewing me as the docile spouse who supported his career while quietly building my own enterprise. Surely, he assumed I'd crumble, perhaps plead for another chance, but he underestimated my acumen. I didn't build a thriving company by being oblivious to protecting what was mine. In hindsight, the warning signs were there, subtle hints I ignored as I juggled my flourishing business and our infant daughter. Donald's frequent trips to our lake house, ostensibly for quiet time, to focus on a corporate merger, were something I should have scrutinized. When we first met 6 years ago, I was already running a flourishing online retail business, which Donald casually dismissed as a quaint hobby. He enjoyed claiming credit, saying he'd helped me turn it into something substantial. In truth, my business prospered and tripled in value purely through my diligence and strategic foresight. The lake house had been my brainchild, an ideal escape for our family, conveniently close to Nashville, but distinct enough to feel like a true getaway. I had purchased it entirely with my company's profits, although Donald insisted on listing his name on the deed for tax purposes. I reluctantly agreed, but not before securing some very specific legal documents affirming the property's actual ownership. Recently, Donald had been especially aloof, spending extended periods in our home office, phone in hand. When queried about his so-called merger, he would react defensively, dismissing my questions with remarks about the complexities of corporate finance, a rich statement from a man unaware that I had been managing his investment portfolio for 3 years. Lifting Emma from her high chair, I held her close, comforted by her sweet baby scent. She had inherited Donald's eyes but mirrored my determination, a trait evident in her eager approach to every new challenge. Gazing at her, my resolve strengthened. This was no longer just about me. It was about safeguarding her future, too. With Emma perched on my hip, I strode to my home office, opened my laptop, and in a matter of minutes, sent my lawyer the documentation affirming my purchase of the lake house. Pulling up the security camera feed, which I had discreetly installed at the lake house, was a step Donald knew nothing about. The cameras had captured every moment, each visit, every guest, and all instances of betrayal. Amber, enjoying her triumph in the lake house, was unaware she was featuring in a video central to my upcoming divorce case. A message from Rachel, my assistant, lit up my phone. Her text was straightforward. Julia, you need to see this. Attached was a link to Amber's Instagram profile.
Marta, it read.
Amber's feed, stretching back months, was filled with photos of her with Donald. Some of these were taken in our lake house bedroom, with her donning my clothes and using my things. Her latest post flaunted a massive diamond ring belonging to my grandmother, the ring Donald had said we'd gift to Emma when she turned 18. My stomach churned. This affair wasn't new. It predated Emma's birth. A photo dated 8 months ago showed Amber brandishing a key to the lake house with a caption, "Home sweet home with my love, red heart, new beginnings." As I spent sleepless nights with our newborn, Donald played house with a woman just out of college. The dates on those photos aligned perfectly with his so-called business trips. Every late-night claim of working, every weekend task of checking on the lake house had all been deception. With trembling hands, I accessed my banking app, only to be hit again. Emma's college fund, stored in our joint account, was wiped clean, nearly $100,000 gone, transferred to an unrecognized account the previous day. The fiery rage morphed into a steely resolve. Immediately, I contacted my bank, then my lawyer. Donald had been systematically draining our funds for months, readying for this betrayal. He'd even tried, unsuccessfully, to access my business accounts, which were secure under impenetrable contracts and distinct banking setups. During my call with the lawyer, Rachel contacted me again. "Julia, there's more," she said, sending screenshots from Amber's private Facebook. Amber had been gloating to her friends about landing a wealthy older man, scheming to milk his boring wife. She spoke of oblivion, with jabs about my engrossment in my online shop, oblivious to their actions. Little did they realize that little shop had tripled my net worth. I'd kept that secret, allowing Donald to think my business was simply thriving, not flourishing grandly. His ego never might have envisioned delving into my company's accounts to appreciate my entrepreneurial success. Gazing at Emma napping soundly, I whispered, "Your mommy is about to teach Daddy a valuable lesson on underestimating women in business." For the next few hours, I was a whirlwind of activity. Sarah, my lawyer, arrived at my residence just before noon, and we reviewed documents in my home office while Emma napped under Rachel's watchful eye upstairs. Additional security now safeguarded the house. Intuition told me Donald wouldn't respond well to my email revelation. "He's not as shrewd as he believes," Sarah concluded, studying the lake house documents. "The deed might bear his name, but we have irrefutable evidence that your business funds financed the purchase. Transfer records, contracts, even his emails declare it was your money. It's indisputable." Nodding, I displayed the security footage on my laptop. "And there's this," I added. The recordings showed Donald and Amber's various visits to the lake house. But Sarah focused keenly on footage from 2 days prior, depicting Donald as he hauled numerous boxes from the house, among them artworks I'd acquired via company profits. "That's attempted theft of business assets," Sarah remarked, jotting notes. "Those art pieces were purchased under your company for tax purposes. We have solid footing here." As I was reviewing the documentation, my phone suddenly lit up with a call from an unknown number. I answered it on speaker. "You think you're so clever, don't you?" It was Donald Sharp. Angry voice. "Check your business email, Julia." "My lawyers have been busy," he continued. I quickly opened my email, feeling a sinking sensation in my stomach. Donald's legal team had filed an emergency petition, claiming my business was built using his expertise and connections. They were asking for a comprehensive audit and temporary control of my company's finances during the divorce proceedings. "You'd really try to take my company?" I asked, keeping my voice steady despite my racing heart. "The company I built before I even met you?" "Built," he laughed coldly. "Who do you think introduced you to those corporate contacts and the people who mattered? Face it, Julia, you wouldn't be where you are without me." Amber understands how to show gratitude. I muted the call and turned to Sarah, who was typing rapidly on her laptop. She motioned me to wait. I unmuted the phone and responded, "Donald, think carefully about your actions." "Oh, I have. My lawyers will be in contact about Emma too. You're too preoccupied with your business to be a good mother. Amber's great with kids. She used to be a nanny." The mention of Emma sent a chill through me, but before I could reply, Sarah slid her laptop over to me. On the screen was a 3-year-old email from Donald to a friend, lamenting my success. "She doesn't listen to my business advice, says she doesn't need me, and she's right. Her company is worth more than my salary now. It's humiliating. I grinned into the phone.
Donald.
I've just sent something to your lawyer. Before you make more threats about my company, you might want to have a word with him. What do you mean? Let's just say your emails aren't as private as you believe. Call off your lawyers, or the next email I send will be to your boss. I wonder what he'd think about all those contacts you claim to have given me. The line went silent, then clicked. Sarah was still sifting through Donald's emails when Rachel burst into the office, looking pale. Julia, you have to see this. She handed me her tablet. It displayed a draft press release from Donald's company announcing his promotion to Chief Financial Officer, effective next month. Suddenly, everything made sense: his affair with Amber, the financial maneuvers, the aggressive legal approach. It was all about more than just leaving me. He was securing assets before his promotion, ensuring he minimized losses in the divorce. There's more, Rachel said, swiping to another document. Amber isn't just any girlfriend. She's the CEO's niece. It felt like a punch to the gut. Donald hadn't simply fallen for a younger woman. He had manipulated his way into a relationship with the CEO's niece to secure his promotion. The lake house, the diverted funds, even the threats about Emma, everything was part of his plan to start his new life as CFO with a well-connected young wife. Sarah looked up from her laptop. Julia, I found something else. The company merger Donald's involved in, it includes one of your biggest competitors. If he becomes CFO, he'll have access to information that could seriously damage your business. My hands clenched into fists. Donald wasn't just attacking me personally. He was positioning himself to destroy everything I'd created. I recalled the nights he'd spent in his home office, supposedly working on merger documents. Was he accessing my business files instead? Check my home network activity, I instructed Rachel. Concentrate on any attempts to access my business servers. While Rachel worked, Sarah uncovered another find. Look at these emails between Donald and Amber from 6 months ago. They were planning this before Emma was even involved. Feeling ill, I realized how Amber and Uncle Robert had plotted against me while I took care of our newborn daughter, but their arrogance led to sloppiness, leaving a trail of evidence that could sink not only Donald's promotion but the CEO's reputation as well. Amber once wrote about exploiting insider information once Donald became CFO to push Julia's company out of the market, and Uncle Robert promised his assistance. Rachel's voice interrupted my thoughts. It seemed multiple access attempts had been made on our business servers from Donald's laptop. Though he couldn't bypass our security, his acts of corporate espionage were clear. I stood by the window, watching Emma play with her favorite stuffed elephant, pondering Donald's belief that leveraging his relationship with Amber to secure his future would be foolproof. However, he ignored the cardinal rule of business: never underestimate your opponent. Sarah, I said, addressing my lawyer, draft an email to the company's board of directors. Include evidence of Donald's failed corporate espionage attempts and the CEO's insider trading to target a competitor. Also, add the security footage of Donald taking company assets from the lake house. And Amber? Rachel questioned, to which I grimly replied, Oh, I think the board will be quite intrigued about their CEO's use of a family member in orchestrating corporate espionage, don't you? Just as we prepared to send the email, my phone alerted us via the lake house's security system. Donald, accompanied by Amber and her Uncle Robert, the CEO, returned and began piling boxes into the house. They were reveling with champagne in hand, unaware the audio was crystal clear. To the future CFO, Robert toasted, his glass raised to Donald, and to my beautiful niece who played a vital role. Julia has no idea what's in store, Donald chuckled. Tomorrow, the board announces my promotion, and by afternoon, our legal squad will control her company's accounts for auditing. Her business will be valueless in a month, Donald laughed. The best part, Amber chimed in, Julia believes her issues stop at the lake house, but wait until she learns about the offshore accounts. I stopped, stunned. Rachel, what offshore accounts? Rapidly typing, Rachel located covert accounts. Donald had rerouted funds from our joint accounts into offshore holdings, not just Emma's college fund, but nearly $300,000 in total. it was more extensive than imagined. This scheming wasn't merely about a separation. He'd been embezzling from our family under the guise of the lake house drama, which served as a diversion. Then, Robert voiced a chilling plan. Once Julia's company collapses, our merger proceeds smoothly, dividing her market share among our subsidiaries, eradicating her ethical business model. My business championed sustainability and fair labor, disrupting their entire industry, posing a threat they wished gone. Send the email, I instructed Sarah. But add one more thing. Access the backup server under password Emma's birthday. Attach the file labeled insurance. Eyes widened. Sarah opened it. Years of Donald's company's shady dealings I'd documented while overseeing his investment portfolio, kept as insurance, never anticipating its necessity. Julia, Rachel exclaimed. Looking at her screen as Donald attempted yet another move, Sarah sat at her laptop, awaiting my signal. Are the emails ready? She asked, glancing up. Yes, send them now, I instructed. Our IT team had constructed a decoy portal, giving the illusion of success. Rachel and I decided to let him feel triumphant temporarily, as within 10 minutes, an email would reach the board, bringing their entire operation to ruin. The fallout commenced swiftly after Sarah sent the email. Robert's phone buzzed almost instantly, and through the camera, we watched his expression turn pale as he received an unexpected call from the board, likely about an emergency meeting. What evidence? Who sent it? He shouted, perplexed. Simultaneously, Donald checked his own email, his face losing color upon realizing he had been outsmarted. The servers, she knew. Julia knew I was hacking in, he stammered. I whispered to Sarah, hinting at further surprises, and right on cue, Amber's phone began chiming with messages. Someone had discreetly distributed her incriminating Facebook chats with each board member, revealing her role in assisting Donald with corporate theft. The security cameras captured their shift from jubilation to chaos. Robert was yelling into his phone. Donald attempted to frantically shut his laptop, while Amber, mascara streaked, was in tears. Just then, the unmistakable blue and red flashes of police cars arrived at the lake house. Corporate espionage and financial fraud hold severe penalties. Who would have guessed? Holding Emma close, I narrated the unraveling saga. See that, sweetie? This is what happens when people underestimate your mom, I said, watching the live feed as Donald, in disbelief, protested while being handcuffed and escorted by police. This is my house. He shouted desperately, but it was too late. Within a day, both Donald and Robert were terminated. The board's inquiry unveiled far more than my original suspicions. Alongside the scheme against my company were years of deceitful dealings. Amber's involvement led to her downfall in corporate circles, her career obliterated. Rumors say she retreated to Ohio, living with her parents. The offshored money was seized, every stolen penny returned with interest. The lake house's ownership reverted to me, its rightful owner, since evidently, attempting corporate robbery nullifies any rights to the property. Donald sent lengthy apologies, claiming regret and vulnerability to ambition and youth, but I ignored his emails. The divorce was straightforward, leaving him void of the riches he coveted. Evidence of his misdeeds ensured his financial career ended. Post-scandal, my business thrived. New investors were drawn to our ethical practices. We exceeded into areas Donald once led, our integrity attracting clientele disenchanted with traditional firms. Emma and I now cherish weekends at the lake house, redefining memories. Sometimes on the deck, watching her play. I recall Donald's arrogant email accompanied by that photo. It was meant to boast his success, but merely marked his demise's onset. I have that email framed. It resides in my office as a testament to never underestimate the resolve of a woman dedicated to safeguarding what she's built.